to record a quick video on this new instrument that I got recently. I've only had this for maybe 5 days. Wanted to give you my impressions of it, show off couple of sounds that it makes, couple of instruments that it has. It has about 700 of those, by the way. I will try to do a comparison between the Yamaha P525. That's the one that I used to have before this one. First of all, I want to say that this instrument has already exceeded my expectations in those 5 days. And I read a lot on the internet, and people say that this is a perfect instrument for beginners. I do not quite agree with that. I don't think this is the best instrument for the beginner because it has way too many things that can, confuse beginners. E125 is actually a better beginner instrument in my opinion, but we can get into the actual differences a little bit later in the video. I want to point out the accompaniment that this thing has. It's way more sophisticated than I expected it to be. So over here, this is what is doing all of the, arrangements and accompaniments. Um, in a nutshell, it has 4 different variations for each style that it has. Yamaha calls them styles. They're literally the thing that, does this kind of stuff. So these are the arrangements, is what I call them. And each stock style has 4 of those, and then it has a break. So like when you're playing something, for example, I'm not playing an actual song, but and then if you need to have a break to have an intro for a different section, you can do this, and you then hold this and then wait until you're ready. Also, it has a cool thing which is called a fill. So when you're playing in variation A, for example, you can do a fill and still stay in the same, variation like this. It's very subtle on this exact beat, but you probably feel it. And then you can do the same from going from A to B. Also, aside from the break function, it has an introduction and an ending. And you can also synchronize the start. So to do that, you would, select your variation that you want to, start the song with, and then pre-select the intro, and then, click on sync start. I think it's pretty self-explanatory here. And then as soon as you touch the keyboard, it will start the accompaniment with the intro. And then once the intro is done, it'll, default to variation A, and then you'll have to manually select the others. So it would go like this. Let me choose a different style. This one sucks. One of my favorites. You might have noticed I clicked this button before I started. I want to talk about this after I play the song. So this is the one time. I don't really know what this abbreviation means, but this is found on a lot of arranger keyboards. Um, Basically, what this does is when this is turned on, all of the default styles that you have on this keyboard, they have an associated instrument that Yamaha thought that would fit the style. So that's why when I clicked on this, it switched from grand piano to saxophone because the style is asking for saxophone basically. There are many functions in this piano that, if anyone on the internet wanted to cover it, it could take, 10 to 15 hours, I'm pretty sure, to like explore all of this. But I can take you through like most of the styles over here. Um, just so I have an idea how powerful and how thought out and just the quality of the styles that Yamaha put into this keyboard. In my opinion, this is the biggest value you can get for the money that this costs, and this costs about $8.99 or something in that range. In terms of having a digital keyboard that has great piano sounds, decent action, and so many styles and so many voices, I don't think any other brand can beat this. Let's check out some more styles. Alright, so you have a rough understanding of, how styles work, and you probably saw me, click a bunch of buttons while playing the song, and don't mind the mistakes that I made because, I'm showing off the style. It's not the way I play. Um, I'm usually more prepared when I play. Alright, so a couple other functions, like key functions that I would like to point out is it has a great song recorder. You can record on USB sticks if you want the actual, you know, wave file. And if you want to record MIDI, you can do that also into its internal memory. But if you want to record a WAV file, you would have to use a USB stick. That's probably important to some. It has a very sophisticated and very complicated and complex sound mixer that has EQ, filter, effects. This is pretty much an FL Studio or something of that sort inside of this. You can do a lot of things. You can, adjust individual layers. You can you can separate the effects you have on the left part of the keyboard from the main keyboard that includes everything, and then you can adjust the second layer of an instrument, for example. Let's say you have the CFX Grand, for example. This is my main sound right now. And usually you would have only the main button checked here. It's lit up right now. So it means that this is just pure, CFX Grand, nothing else. Then I can layer this with, mm, let's try a guitar, for example. All right, so I have two voices stacked on top of each other. And aside from that, I can now add a third instrument that will be only on the left side, which could be, let's say some sort of a bass. And what I was talking about earlier is the equalizer, the mixer, and everything that you want to do. You can do it separately to each one of those instruments. So the left part, the whole keyboard, including the left, and then just the layer. So you can separately tune your grand. Oh, I'm sorry. On the left side, you do not have the main instrument. Main is starting from the point where you can adjust in the settings where your left part ends, and everything from there, it's probably somewhere around here. So everything from here is considered main plus the second layer on top of it. I hope it makes sense. It has beautifully categorized styles on the left side with, categories. And then same thing for voices. That's very convenient. You can quickly access at least the right category right away. This spinning wheel is very helpful to quickly navigate things because this is not touchscreen. And I don't think people will even want this to be touchscreen because when you're trying to do something quick, I think for me at least, it would be harder to precisely point to the right place. And for a screen this small, I don't think it would give you joy to, quickly select things on the screen. So I'm kind of glad that it's not touchscreen and you can have actual buttons. And also, if, down the road the screen breaks or stops working, or if the touchscreen goes out, you still have, control over what you're doing with this instrument. And you do need control over this instrument because anything you want to do, you need to press at least like two or three buttons to change what you're doing here. Another thing is worth mentioning is it has registration memories. You have four of those, but that's not all you can have. So what this does is like you click on this and it's basically like a preset. So whatever you do over here, the way you configure here, like your tempo, your sounds, and the style you chose, and all the voices, and your mixer settings, you can save that to these memory banks. It's like a memory seat on a car seat, basically. And then once you save it, it remembers everything that you did in this session. And then once you click it, whatever you're doing before, it reverts back to what you had saved. So that's very convenient. And you can have, as far as I know, like infinite amount of those. Or if not infinite, you can do like a lot of those, like unreasonable amount of, safe banks because they take up very little space on its internal memory. So yeah, you would never have a problem with that. Another thing that is really nice is the pitch wheel. A lot of digital pianos that are strictly like focused on giving you only a good piano experience, like the P125. It does not have this wheel, but it has voices that could benefit from this pitch wheel. So it's really nice that it's here. You do really need this. This instrument would suck if it didn't have this. Another cool thing to mention are the super articulation instruments. Um, Yamaha has put a lot of super realistic instruments here. I want to show you a couple of those. The nylon guitar, for example. I need to remove the piano layer and make my nylon guitar as a main instrument. And by the way, as complicated as this instrument looks to me, I already know like almost everything it does. I just can't get to some stuff quickly enough, but at least I have a feeling where everything would be. So it has become very intuitive for me. I want to say that to people that, might be scared to try this instrument or think that this is too complicated for them. If you know a thing or two about music theory and you've had at least like a couple of digital pianos or just any keyboard, um, I'm pretty sure you would figure this out in maybe a week or two. I'm already figuring it out on my, first week. All right, so nylon guitar, super articulation. I'll play a couple of things and you'll probably notice the stuff that's special about it. I honestly didn't feel that articulation. Maybe it was on a different guitar. Let's try another one. Concert guitar. There. Did you hear it? It does it on its own. I'm not pressing anything. It just inserts that fret sound whenever it's deemed necessary. And most of the time, it fits into the song that you're playing. Sometimes you wish it wasn't there, but I'm pretty sure you can turn that off. But most of the time, it's pretty intelligent and, it's programmed correctly. So check it out. Pretty awesome. This is pretty exciting, especially if you're listening to this in your headphones like I am. You hear like bunch more effects and cool things, and the quality is way better, obviously. So most of the time when I play this on my own, and even if I'm not recording anything, most of the time I still listen to myself play through the headphones because it's just such a better experience. You experience everything that Yamaha intended you to experience versus the speakers. And speakers are another topic that I wanted to quickly discuss. Uh, they're pretty good. They have good bass and they're pretty loud. For an apartment, especially, it's pretty damn good. So you don't really have to worry about, buying additional, monitor speakers or whatever. if you're not, intending on gigging or taking this to, like, I don't know, big halls, or basically, if you're not intending on commercially using this keyboard, you might not even need speakers. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't, because the P125 had horrendous speakers, and I was not happy about them. They lacked bass, and they, like, lacked texture. I don't know how to explain it, that it didn't transmit the details that were in the piano samples that I had. I had a couple of good samples. The default grand piano that I had was pretty good. Still not as good as the one over here, but it kind of opened up more when you listen to it through headphones or a better speaker. But the speakers on their own on P125 are kind of meh. And if you're wondering if this is a better instrument or the P125, I know a lot of people can give you a straight answer on YouTube when you watch other reviews, and they say one is better than the other in some aspect. In general, in my opinion, this is just a better instrument, period. Unless, you want, like, something ultra portable and, super light, that something that you can carry to the mountains, or I don't know what you're into, but um yes, but you couldn't do that with this one. So if that's a deal breaker for you, yeah, you might have to settle for something smaller like P125. But, instrument versus instrument, if you ignore, the extra price and the portability, this is a better instrument. It has better samples. It has a better sound engine. Um, Speakers are better. Yeah, this is a more premium instrument than the P125. That's my opinion. It's not a big debate on which is better. I think this is better. Also, another cool thing, this is very subtle and minor, but you can give a name to this instrument, so whenever you turn it on, it greets you with your personal name. I think it's pretty cool. Alright, let's try a couple of standard piano sounds. This is no effects, no reverb, nothing, the way it comes out of the box. I specifically restarted this keyboard, so, everything is untouched. This is a pop grand. Let's quickly listen to the CFX Grand. This is what you get out of the box. This is the very first instrument. This is like their top of the line CFX. Very rich, bassy, and realistic sound. I really like it. All right, now let's compare this to the Studio Grand. This one has a little bit more reverb out of the box and sounds a little brighter to me. Still a great sound. It just depends on what song you're playing and what you like. And there's the actual bright piano, which I don't think actually sounds brighter than the other one that I just played. It actually sounds mellower to me, but, to each their own. Another great sound, and then there's rock piano. I don't know how to describe this, you just have to hear it yourself. There's a little bit of that honky tonk effect, if you ask me. Next one is ambient piano. This is definitely mellower. This is probably for softer songs, maybe slower. And this one is some sort of a funny experiment that Yamaha did. I'm not sure what this is for, but it's called cocktail piano. Couple of octaves in one sound or something. I don't know what they did to this, but I don't know, it sounds funny and you might use it somewhere. And there are a couple of EPs over here, electric pianos. Just top notch. Vintage EP. Not a fan of this instrument. I don't really like it, but I know a lot of people do. And then there's the default, regular electric piano. This is not a suitcase, it's like an actual electric piano. Alright, so this thing has this panning effect where it goes from left to right. Like like the real one does. So if you listen to this in actual headphones, you would feel the effect, but otherwise you wouldn't know it. And there's CP80. And there's the actual honky tonk. There's warm grand piano at the very end of this page, which I'm just now discovering. I didn't know it existed. Let's see. I don't know. UP DGX, I'm not super impressed by this one. And there's harpsichords. Pretty good. Pretty realistic. The accordions in this are pretty good too. This is the accordion bass, so I'm thinking they probably intended this to be a left side instrument, so you can do like, play the left hand over here because it's only a bass. You can play it on the right side too, but I think the main point of this instrument is to be on the left side to mimic the bass on the accordion. There's also ban ban bandoneon. This is more for like Europe type songs, or maybe Latin American, or for tangos and stuff, because they have a tango accordion too. Good stuff. Next, we have a section of string instruments. There's constant strings, steady strings. Then there's violin. And I forgot to mention, each one of those voices, which is almost 700, they have a separate tab where it's called voice set. You click one of these buttons. It corresponds with the placement of the icon of the button over here with the column of those buttons, so it's not that hard to know which button you need to press. So you go in there and then you can adjust millions of settings for that individual instrument, and you can save it as a different instrument as a preset. Aside from this, that's an instrument only preset. You can adjust your touch sense, you can adjust octaves. And what else? You can add more effects. You can add reverb, harmony. I haven't even looked into that kind of stuff yet. I'm still using like most of the out of the box instruments. So yeah, there was violin, and then there's viola. Harp. You have several voices here, like actual human voices. There's humming. I guess this is another voice that you would assign to the left side. to have someone hum basically on the left side, and then you can play your main melody on the right side. This is a pretty cool instrument. I don't know if you've heard of it. If anyone who's heard of it, it's called hackbread. Pretty new to me. I know the sound it makes is very familiar to me. It sounds like um, something that you would hear in Romanian music, maybe. Pretty cool instrument. Glockenspiel. This one is just called orchestral hit. This sounds like something from the jellyfish party in SpongeBob, honestly. There's your brass section and woodwinds. You have tons of those. You have clarinet and flutes. It's one single instrument. So now you have drums as a separate category, which you could explore for days. Real drum kit. All right. It still has the cornet as a layer. I'll turn that off. It's really easy to turn those off and on over here because you have dedicated buttons, which is very convenient. So like when you're playing something, you can turn off and on instruments on the go without stopping the whole shebang. It's very convenient. All right, so the layer's off. So now we have the drum kit. can go crazy with this kind of stuff. Way too many sounds for you to not experiment with it. So if you're a creative person and you like zoning out and then just sitting for like 2, 3, 4 hour sessions with your headphones on and just miss and then seeing the sunrise out of your window, this might be the instrument for you if you can zone out like that. They even put Turkish and Arabic percussion here, which is insane. Those little Turkish drums that they have, bambuka or something they're called. And then the Arabic, not really Arabic over here, but yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Symphony kit. So this will be interesting. Referee whistle. Okay. Nice. All right, so that's the drums in a nutshell. There's a bunch more different kits. There's vibraphone too, by the way. And the last section is synths. I'm not a huge synth fan, and I don't have a lot of experience with it. I don't usually play it, but there's a lot of synth sounds here. Each one has their own, separate configuration with a bunch of reverb and modulation, and there's just too much to cover in one video, or ever to cover in all of this. Reminds me of some sort of a Minecraft theme. With instruments like this, with all of the styles that you have and the voices and the customization you can do, and the mixer that you have over here, the EQ and all of the options, and the colorful screen you have over here with these, universal buttons, utility buttons, I would call them. You can literally write a whole song, like professional grade song, I'm pretty sure, if you put your mind to it. Honestly, this is capable of that. I will include some comparison videos of me playing an actual song recorded through, line output so you can, fault the speakers for their, differences. A comparison between, me playing something on a similar instrument on the DGX versus the P125. So you can, judge for your own which one you prefer more. But honestly, if money and portability is not an issue for you, if you intend to just place it in your residence or wherever you live and just not touch it and not take to places very often, just get the DGX if you can afford it. Promise you. This would be a better choice. And as far as the key action, let me go over the action real quick. They're pretty much the same because they both use the same keypad. It's the GHS. Um, I haven't found huge difference between either of those. Between those, the DGX might feel a little lighter, and maybe I'm just tweaking, but it feels a little bit lighter than on the P125, but you wouldn't really notice it. So if you have the P125 and you're looking to make the switch and upgrade to DGX like I did, don't worry about the key action. It'll be if you like the key action on P125, you'll like it here too. Even if it's a little lighter, which I'm not even 100% sure. For stuff that you have over here, like arrangers and the vast amount of sounds, you don't want action to be super, super heavy because they're instruments that you can play like really fast. And I don't know, to me, like I wouldn't prefer to have heavier keys on an instrument like this. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents if anyone is wondering. All right, so I'm gonna wrap up the video with a couple of short song segments of me playing both instruments and comparing those two. Um, Figure it out for yourself. What do you like more? See the differences. Definitely buy an instrument like this if you're super creative and you can sit for hours and experiment. I'm pretty sure this will open up more creativity out of you because it has done that to me. You just explore more things about yourself too as a musician when you're behind of an instrument like this. You start playing stuff that you wouldn't normally play on a less complicated instrument, if that makes sense. So this instrument has the potential to make you a better musician if you're already, intermediate player or a little more advanced than a beginner. I think this is the instrument that can take you up a level because you're given all the tools to experiment. So yeah, I'm gonna end it right here. Thanks for watching. More to come.